keeping an eye on events here at the Crucible, as he always does, is the president of Matchroom Sport and the former supremo of our great sport, Barry Hearn. Lovely to have you with us once again, Barry.
Great to be here. It wouldn't be the same year if I didn't sit here opposite you for a few minutes.
Well, I'm very chuffed, thank you very much. And it's lovely to have you. And we're going to dive straight in because we only have you for a few minutes, Barry. And something that's been on everyone's mind is, of course, the future of this great championship and indeed its future here in Sheffield. What is the latest on this one? What can you tell us?
Nothing has much changed other than I am absolutely doing everything to stay in Sheffield, and it takes two to tango. I'll stay here while we're wanted, and I think we're wanted. I know we're wanted by the BBC. I think we're wanted by Sheffield, but they've got to be realistic, and we've said for the last few years we need a new venue that seats 2,500 to 3,000 people, because I'm fed up with getting letters from people all over the world saying, how do I get a ticket? We run out of tickets tomorrow or the day after for next year. This is crazy, and I'm looking for Sheffield to come to the party. And if they do, we're staying. And if they don't, they're really saying to me that we don't want you. So it's not really my call.
Well, the deal is up in 2027.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's new deals on the table with the Saudi Arabian backers. They're very much part of this championship now as co-sponsors, clearly. And there's a lot of money swirling around in the game, which is fantastic.
Which is good for everybody, isn't it? Yeah.
But I guess a lot of people are saying, does money talk completely now, or does history and heritage still have a say?
No, trust me, money has the edge every time. I mean, that's this. We live in the real world. If there's deals out there that are going to change people's lives and increase profitability, it's not really a choice to make. But what we do is we rise to the occasion as well. We fight fire with fire. Crucible's got a fantastic history. It's been a massive part of my life. This little ginger fella next to me here, you know, without this place, without him, I certainly wouldn't have the pleasure of sitting next talking to you. But we've all got to live in the real world. There's a price for everything in today's world, whether we like it or not. But I don't like it, and I want to stay here. And I can't do more than say that, but I need help. I need a reason to stay here as well.
Playing devil's advocate on behalf of Sheffield,
of course.
A 3,000-seater Crucible is great for maybe the final of the World Championship. What about the first rounds? And also, what about the Crucible for the rest of the weeks of the year when they're trying to put small plays on? Is that being selfish to snooker?
Yeah, I think it is, and I'm going to be selfish because my attitude is I can't be more loyal to Sheffield than I have, but everyone needs to pull in the same direction. It's still not going to get as far as the Saudi Arabia market or the Abu Dhabi market, whatever, because these people are buying up sports right, left and centre. We've seen what they've done with boxing. It's a completely different world, and they can do that at will. We've got to show that we can compete and raise at least somewhere near it to justify me not turning around to the players and saying, why don't we make the prize money 10 times what it is?
But does the history and the nostalgia of the Crucible, does that not mean something? Aren't there things in life that money cannot buy, and that's...
No.
Well, I think there are.
Let's be honest. Let's be perfectly honest. Families apart, and if you leave out the romantic stuff about that, in a business sense, and snooker is a professional sport played by professional sportsmen, their first demand across any sport is prize money.
Yeah.
And they want to see it as big as possible, and we, as custodians of the sport, have a fiduciary duty to those players.
But cannot they create their own history and create their own tournaments that are as big as the World Championship and leave that Crucible the way it is? Like they can have their own tournament.
Certainly they can, but of course it's a shortcut. And these people are not renowned, the Middle East backers, etc., mainly, but also Chinese backers, are not renowned in their life for not getting what they want, and they want it now.
Barry, can I ask, what else is to be gained, apart from money, by moving this event to Saudi Arabia or indeed to China? And to what extent is the domestic television market still a factor in the decision-making processes of the board here?
Realistically, in the pot that is available to the players and to World Snooker, everyone has a say and everyone should be listened to. There's another case to answer here, is whether you say, why should it have one home, and why isn't the Crucible transported around the world to play 1 year in Saudi Arabia, 1 year in Beijing, 1 year in Sheffield? There's lots of ways to look at this, and what we have to do is take the emotion out of business.
Yep.
Because life doesn't work like that. I'd love to tell you that it is, and we all live in a fairy story. You know, it's not that simple. We've got a lot of players here. We've already seen players talking about doing other events, rival tours and all this sort of stuff. If we don't do things properly, then we don't deliver to the players, and then we don't enjoy the position of strength that we currently have. And that's in my view, that's in no one's advantage. We've got a wonderful sport that is on the crest of a wave. I came up to congratulate my staff for what they've done in the last year, because they've shown me now there is a way, and I believe next year we go through the £20 million prize money. Now, we were on 3.5 14 years ago. We've done extremely well, but you must never ever get complacent in your life and sit down and enjoy the luxury of saying, job done. It's never done. There's never enough. It's all about money. Get used to it. And because the world is changing, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to be a dinosaur and not change with the world.
Well, I hear that, and it's very interesting, and you touched on it, this idea of a breakaway tour. Now, you're hearing whispers, and we're hearing whispers about this. Is there room for unsanctioned events,
Listen,
in your view?
the players under the new agreement have freedom to do what they want to do when there isn't a World Snooker Tour deal. And that'll open up, I think, 10, 12 weeks of the year. You know, The difference is, collectively, we are very strong. Every other little thing that happens outside of the strong body, it's a trade union theory, of course, weakens the collective bargaining power that the main tour have, to the detriment of the 128. It may well please certain few players who are perhaps coming towards the end of their career, and they've got to do what's right for their family. There isn't a player on this tour today that isn't under contract for the next 2 years. So they've got to work within World Snooker rules, and we won't hold anyone back. But frankly, commercially, I know the market, those sort of breakaway thoughts don't really have a very great deal of commercial value. So I'm quite comfortable to let everyone do what they want, because I believe in the brand of World Snooker and what we've built up over the years. Time will tell, but it's exciting, isn't it?
It's certainly exciting, Barry, and it's always, always interesting. In fact, it's always fascinating that you drop in here and give us the wisdom that you've built up over all of these years in this sport. Thank you so much indeed
A pleasure.
for coming in once
Thank
again. All right, Barry, we'll let you go because we've got a big afternoon ahead of us, not least some fascinating matches this afternoon on